This is somebody's birthday. My daughter. How old is she? She's 5. I guess you don't fly that often. Been driving in the opposite direction of Logan for the last minutes.
The Equalizer II, also promoted as The Equalizer II and EQ2, is a 2018 American vigilante action thriller film directed by Antoine Fuqua. It is the sequel to the 2014 film The Equalizer, which was based on the TV series of the same name, as well as the second installment of the Equalizer trilogy. The film stars Denzel Washington in the lead role, Pedro Pascal, Ashton Sanders, Melissa Leo, Bill Pullman, and Orson Bean in his final film role. It follows Marine Corps veteran and retired DIA officer Robert McCall as he sets out on a path of revenge after an associate is murdered. The film is the fourth collaboration between Washington and Fuqua, following Training Day, 2001, The Equalizer, 2014, and The Magnificent Seven, 2016, and marks the first time Washington has starred in a sequel to one of his films. Talks of a sequel began 7 months before the first film was released. The project was officially announced in April 2015. Filming began in September 2017 and took place in Boston and other areas in Massachusetts. The Equalizer II was released in the United States on July 20, 2018, by Sony Pictures Releasing. The film received mixed reviews and was a commercial success, like its predecessor, grossing $190 million worldwide. Another sequel, The Equalizer III, was released on September 1, 2023. Plot: after taking down Pushton's operations, Robert McCall works as a driver and assists the less fortunate with the help of his close friend and former DIA colleague Susan Plummer. Robert travels to Istanbul to retrieve a kidnapped 9-year-old. With Susan's assistance, Robert gathers information for Sam Rubinstein, an elderly Holocaust survivor looking to recover a painting of his long-dead sister. After Robert returns home to find that his apartment's courtyard has been vandalized, he accepts an offer from Miles Whitaker, a troubled teen resident with artistic talent, to paint a mural on the walls. Robert also helps one of his passengers, a young woman named Amy, who shows signs of having been drugged and assaulted. He takes her to the hospital and returns to brutally beat the men who attacked her. Susan and DIA officer Dave York, Robert's former partner, are called to investigate the murder-suicide of an agency affiliate and his wife in Brussels. Susan is accosted in her hotel room and killed during what seems to be a robbery. Robert determines that the expertly delivered Fayol knife means that Susan was targeted and that the murder-suicide was also staged. Robert reveals to Dave that he is still alive and informs him of his findings. When Robert is attacked by an assassin posing as a passenger, he kills the man and retrieves his mobile phone, discovering Dave's number on its call list. Robert confronts Dave at his home. Dave confesses that soon after McCall's supposed death, Their unit was disbanded by the government. He and the rest of the team became contract killers. Dave says that he killed Susan because she would have figured out that he was behind the Brussels killings. When Robert leaves Dave's house, he confronts his teammates, Kovac, Ari, and Resnick. Before departing, he promises to kill them all to avenge Susan's death. Resnick and Ari head to Susan's house to kill her husband Brian, but Robert helps him escape. Dave and Kovac break into Robert's apartment, where Miles is painting the walls. Monitoring the apartment via webcams, Robert directs Miles to hide in a secret safe room and makes a call to Dave to lure him away. When Miles emerges from hiding, Dave and Kovac capture him for leverage. Dave deduces that Robert has gone to his evacuated stormy seaside hometown. Once there, Kovac, Ari, and Resnick search the town in hurricane winds while Dave positions himself on top of a watchtower. Robert stealthily subdues Dave's teammates one by one. He impales Kovac with a harpoon fired from a spear gun and kills Ari with 2 knives. Then, Robert leads Resnick to a trap in his deceased wife's bakery, triggering a flour explosion that dispatches Resnick ignited by his own stun grenade. Now alone, Dave reveals that he has Miles tied up and gagged in the trunk of his car. He fires several taunting shots to lure out Robert, but Robert foils his last shot by shooting the car's tires to lower it. Dave, having been knocked down by the wind as it grows stronger, yells at Robert about failing to save Susan and attempting to save Miles. Robert surprises Dave on the tower. After a fight, Robert stabs him with his own knife in the abdomen in a similar fashion to Susan's fate, slashes the back of Dave's neck, and throws his body to the sea. He then rescues Miles, and the two retreat into his home to bind their wounds and wait for the hurricane to blow over. Back in Boston, Susan's information about Sam's painting helps Robert reunite Sam with his long-lost sister. Miles finishes painting the mural on the apartment complex's brick wall, returns to school, and focuses on his art. Robert's neighbor, Fatima, notices Miles' new mural. Having moved back into his old house, Robert looks out towards the sea. Cast: Denzel Washington as Robert McCall, Pedro Pascal as Dave York, Ashton Sanders as Miles Whitaker, Orson Bean as Sam Rubenstein, Bill Pullman as Brian Plummer, Melissa Leo as Susan Plummer, Jonathan Scarf as Resnick, Sakina Jaffrey as Fatima. Production, development and casting. On February 24, 2014, 7 months before the release of The Equalizer, it was announced that Sony Pictures and Escape Artists were planning a sequel, with Richard Wenk penning the script again. 5. In early October 2014, Antoine Fuqua stated that there would be a sequel to the film only if audiences and Denzel Washington wanted it. Fuqua said vigilante Robert McCall was an interesting character, and that the sequel could have more of an international flavor. 6. On April 22, 2015, Sony officially announced a sequel, with Washington returning to his role as McCall. Fuqua's returning was not yet confirmed. 7. In September 2016, producer Todd Black revealed that the script of the film was complete, and that Fuqua would return to direct, with shooting set to begin in September 2017. 8. On August 21, 2017, Pedro Pascal was cast in an unspecified role. 9. 2 days later, Melissa Leo and Bill Pullman were confirmed to reprise their roles from the first film, as Susan and Brian Plummer, and it was reported that the film would be produced by Jason Blumenthal, Black, Washington, Steve Tisch, Mace Neufeld, Alex Siskin and Tony Eldridge. 10. On August 24, 2017, Ashton Sanders joined the film to play a character who comes to consider Washington's McCall a father figure. 11. On March 25, 2018, it was revealed that Sakina Jeffrey had also been added to the cast. 12. Filming. Principal photography on the film began in the South End area of Boston, Massachusetts, on September 14, 2017, 10/13/14. Filming also took place on Lynn Shore Drive in Lynn, Massachusetts. 15. The Powder Point Bridge in Duxbury, Massachusetts. 16. As well as in Brant Rock, Massachusetts. The final action scene was filmed here. Interior scenes were filmed in a studio in Canton, Massachusetts. While Sony and other publications reported the film was made on a net production budget of $62 million, Deadline Hollywood stated their sources insisted the cost was in the high $70 million range after Massachusetts tax credits. 2. Music. Main article, The Equalizer II soundtrack. Release. The Equalizer II was released on July 20, 2018, by Sony Pictures. 17. Sony had originally scheduled the film for a September 29, 2017, release. 18. But on November 3, 2016, the film was pushed to September 14, 2018. 19. And then on September 28, 2017, the release date was brought forward to August 3, 2018, but then on February 13, 2018, it got settled on its July 20, 2018 release. 20. Home media. The Equalizer II was released on digital HD on November 13, 2018, and on Ultra HD Blu-ray, and DVD on December 11, 2018, by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. Reception. Box office. The Equalizer II grossed $102.1 million in the United States and Canada, and $88.3 million in other territories, for a total worldwide total of $190.4 million, against a production budget of $62 million. 3. In the United States and Canada, The Equalizer II was released alongside two other sequels, Mamma Mia! Here We Go Again and Unfriended, Dark Web, and was projected to gross $27 to $32 million from 3,388 theaters in its opening weekend. 21. It made $3.1 million from Thursday night previews, double the $1.45 million earned by the original film in 2014, and $13.5 million on its first day. It went on to debut to $35.8 million, finishing first at the box office. It also bested the opening of the first film, $34.1 million, and was the third best domestic start for Washington. 22. It fell 61% to $14 million in its second weekend, finishing third behind newcomer Mission Impossible, Fallout and Mamma Mia, and in its third weekend grossed $8.8 million, dropping to fifth place. 23-24. Critical response. On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 52% based on 211 reviews, with an average rating of May 6, 10. The website's critical consensus reads, The Equalizer II delivers the visceral charge of a standard vigilante thriller, but this reunion of trusted talents ultimately proves a disappointing case study in diminishing returns. 25. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 50 out of 100, based on 43 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 26. Audiences surveyed by CinemaScore give the film an average grade of A, on an A+ to F scale, up from the first film's A-, while those polled by PostTrack gave it an 86% overall positive score, with 69% saying they would definitely recommend it. 2. David Ehrlich of IndieWire gave the film a C-, saying, "The good news is that fans of Antoine Fuqua's The Equalizer, a bland and pulpy 2014 riff on the 80s TV series of the same name, are in for more of the same. The bad news is the rest of us are too." 27. The Equalizer is an American action crime drama television series, originally airing on CBS from September 18, 1985, to August 24, 1989, which was co-created by Michael Sloan and Richard Lindheim. It starred Edward Woodward as Robert McCall, a retired intelligence agent with a mysterious past, who uses the skills from his former career to exact justice on behalf of innocent people who find themselves in dangerous circumstances, while sometimes also dealing with people from his past in covert operations who want to pull him back in or settle old scores. In the years after its cancellation, the show became a cult classic, one that inspired further works, including 3 feature films and a reimagined series. Series plot elements. The series stars British actor Edward Woodward as Robert McCall, a former covert operations officer of an unnamed American government intelligence organization, which was often referred to simply as the agency or the company, who tries to atone for his past by offering, usually free of charge, his services as a troubleshooter, a protector, and an investigator. 2. 3. People in need found him through a newspaper classified ad. Got a problem? Odds against you? Call the Equalizer, 212-555-4200. 3, 4, 5. When he began the business in the pilot episode, the nickname Equalizer was revealed as bestowed on him by an operative named Brahms, played by Jerry Stiller. 3. Aided by a group of sometimes mysterious contacts, some of whom date back to his spying days, McCall traverses the streets of New York City, delivering justice upon bullies, corrupt police officials and politicians, hoodlums, mobsters, rapists, racists, murderers, kidnappers, drug dealers, and other truly deserving people. "Please don't do anything you will never live to regret," he tells one villain. 6, 7. His contacts were also prone to human foibles that ranged from egoism to domestic problems. 5. Many episodes focused on McCall interacting with Control, played by Robert Lanson, the unnamed head of the Manhattan office of the secret organization for which McCall used to work. 3. As a general rule, however, the people responding to the newspaper ad were unremarkable, average, and unknown. Edward Woodward as Robert McCall, a veteran operative of the company who becomes disillusioned with sacrificing ordinary people for the perceived greater good. He quits and ticks out a newspaper advert offering his services to those who need it as the Equalizer. McCall himself is divorced, a lost dad long estranged from his son, Scott, William Zabka. Scott comes back into his life as a young adult who is at first bitterly critical of his father's world, but then becomes drawn into that world to the dismay of both of his parents. McCall also lost a woman he was in love with, a fellow operative named Manon Brevard, and discovers that she had secretly given birth to his daughter, Yvette. 9. McCall appears to be independently wealthy, as although he almost never takes payment for his work, he owns a high-end apartment, is always well-dressed and drives a Jaguar XJ6 car, registered 5809 August. He enjoys classical music, playing the piano himself, fine wine and dining, and is occasionally seen dating and trying to live a normal life, only for work or his past to get in the way. His father, William, was a British Army officer who was killed in Egypt in 1952 when McCall was 19 and also an Army officer. His mother was a working-class American entertainer and his father was disinherited by his family and shunned by his regiment for being seen to be marrying beneath himself. 10. McCall had a strained relationship with his father, whom he blamed for remaining overseas and leaving him at boarding school while his mother was dying. He was also guilt-ridden at his various actions during the Cold War, notably helping to establish the dictatorship in Chile and working with South Africa's apartheid regime in Angola. Woodward was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Actor in a Drama Series 4 years in a row but never won, and was also nominated in 1986 and 1987 for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Television Series Drama, winning in 1986. Keith Sarabochka as Mickey Kostmaya, also starring, 56 episodes. Mickey is short for Michael, 11. He is introduced in the second episode of the series, China Rain. 12. McCall has to call in a Marco with control to enlist Mickey, after trading for McCall's notes and contacts on a company operation. McCall finds him pier fishing. Mickey likes the idea of an equalizer, and McCall needs some wacko who's willing to stick his finger in the fan. So, who we helping? 12. He was a Navy SEAL, who was thrown in the brig for a crime he did not commit, until McCall cleared him and recommended he join the company. 13. He is often utilized to surveil suspects and protect clients and witnesses. Always laconic, he is from Houston, Texas, of Polish/American origin, and served in Cambodia during the Vietnam War, claiming to have stayed awake during one mission for 96 hours straight. He enjoys fishing in his free time, is a fan of the Knicks basketball team and bubblegum, and builds models out of matchsticks. His brother is a priest, who lives in New York City, and needs the help of McCall and Mickey in one episode. 14. While McCall is almost always dressed in a suit, Mickey is usually seen in jeans and wearing a watch cap and army overcoat. A black Dodge van is his usual mode of transport. Recurring. Robert Lansing as Control, 29 episodes. A contemporary of McCall's in the company who has risen to a senior rank, he and McCall are usually friendly, although at times Control's focus on the mission causes friction with McCall's desire to avoid collateral damage. Although McCall does not always agree with Control's methods, he usually helps his old friend when younger and even more ruthless agents try to force him out. For his part, Control allows McCall to utilize company men like Mickey, Jimmy, and Sternal provided they are not on assignment. Known for his trademark bow ties, Mark Margolis as Jimmy, 16 episodes. Another company veteran, Jimmy is an expert in surveillance, and McCall brings him in one. Richard Jordan as Harley Gage, 10 episodes. Another disillusioned company veteran, Gage was brought in by Richard Dyson, played by Robert Mitchum, to track down McCall when he goes missing in Mission McCall. Gage ends up staying on and helping McCall with clients throughout Season 3, 28, 29, 30, 21, 31, 32. This was done to lighten the load on Woodward after he suffered a heart attack. 33. Although Keith Sarabochka was featured in only 4 of the episodes with Jordan. 34, 35, 20, 36. Maureen Anderman as Pedophilan, 8 episodes. The widow of McCall's former colleague and a former operative herself, she owns Ophelan bar and restaurant that McCall and Mickey frequent, and she occasionally helps with their missions. She is introduced in the Season 3 episode, Christmas Presents, 30, and appears 6 more times in Season 3, 21, 32, 37, 38, 39, 24. Her last episode is the Season 4 premiere, The Last Campaign. 40. Anderman had previously appeared as Eleanor Griffith, 41, in Season 1 before her new role, Suicide Squad. 67. Martin had previously appeared as the villain Slate, 68, at the end of Season 2 before his new role. Performs despite being manipulated by her dangerous manager, played by Bruce Payne, 87. In Nocturne, the rhythm and blues singing duo, Ashford and Simpson performed their 1986 number 4 hit single, Count Your Blessings, from their Real Love album. 45. Broadway baritone singer Bruce Hubbard plays a club manager in Solo. 72. And Detective Warren in Race Traders, alongside singer-slash-guitarist Michael Soveras portraying Nick Kaminsky, who gets caught up with a group of skinheads and an Aryan leader played by the Velvet Underground founder John Cale. 58. Singer Karen Akers had a supporting role in China Rain as Cynthia, a nightclub head of personal relations. 12. Jasmine Guy, in her first credited on-screen role, plays Gloria in Out of the Past. 88. In the episode Interview. 28. Singer Paul Hipp plays Jera, the lead singer of Archon. Baritone singer Terrence Mann is a villain called Shadow Man, and multi-instrumentalist Tim Capello appears as an Archon roadie. Capello also plays an adult shopkeeper in A Place to Stay. NYC stand-up comedian Rick Aviles appeared as Scam in A Place to Stay. 17. Stage performers. The series also made good use of its New York City filming location/setting by employing actors, 85, who were appearing on Broadway in the late 1980s as guest stars. These include Christine Baranski, Philip Bosco, Yvonne Bryceland, J. Smith Cameron, Caitlin Clark, Kevin Conway, Jim Dale, Dee Odie, Bruce Hubbard, Terrence Mann, Francis Ruffell, Joseph Sommer, and Ann Toomey. Woodward colleagues and family. Additionally, several former stage and screen co-stars of Edward Woodward appeared on the show. These included Brian Bedford, 86, Tammy Grimes, 82, real-life mother of Amanda Plummer, Gwen Verdon, 44, Sandy Dennis, 88, Jenny Agutter, 60, Shirley Knight, 66, and Sylvia Sidney, 11. Woodward's second wife, Michelle Rice, appeared as the central character in Heartstrings. 89. Her father, Roy Rice, also guest-starred on the show in Trial by Ordeal. 11. Edward Woodward's son, actor Tim Woodward, appeared as McCall's father in a flashback scene in Prisoners of Conscience. 10. Film and reboot guest stars. A few notable guest stars have gone on to appear in the Equalizer films and 2021 revival series. Neil Ben-Ari made his television debut on Season 1 of The Equalizer as Male Suit in No Conscience, 1986, 90, and plays Moxter Stanley in Season 3, Something Green, 1988, 36. In 2022, Ben-Ari played Aria Bitten in the reboot episode, What Dreams May Come. Dennis Boutsikaris played C.R. Heaton in Season 3, In the Money, 74, 1987, and played Judge Thomas Clemens in the reboot episode, DWB. 2022. Melissa Leo, who guest-starred as Irina Joshinsky, 52, in the third episode of Season 1, The Defector, plays Susan Plummer in all three films. John Bedford Lloyd, who played D.A. Francis Scanlon, also played Howard in the reboot Season 2 episode, Vox Populi. Roma Mafia made her television debut in Season 1 of The Equalizer as the recurring character Cindy, who is a call girl that Dana Cauldron relies on to glean intelligence from her clients. In the reboot, Mafia has another recurring role as therapist Dr. Willa Rasha, beginning with Season 2 in What Dreams May Come, and continuing in Season 5 with Just Fans. Valerie Pettifoot's television debut role was investigative reporter Jackie Chenier in No Place Like Home, 1988, 91, and after a long successful career, she played a reoccurring role as Carol Dante, Marcus Dante's mother, in the reboot, beginning with the Season 2 episode, DWB. 2022. 92. Layla Robbins, who plays Cindy Clausen, 40, in the season 4 premiere, The Last Campaign, goes on to play CIA Director Suri Nance in the reboot episode, The Milk Run. Ching Valdez-Aaron made her 1985 screen/television debut in the second episode of Season 1 as McCall's contact from the Orient, Tommy Lee, in China Rain. 12. Her second Equalizer role came in the Season 3 episode, Video Games, 1987. 32. In 2025, Valdez-Aaron played Lorna Biani, Mal Biani's mother, in Season 5 of the reboot, in Dirty Sexy Money. Frank Whaley played Press in Season 3, The Child Broker, 31, and played Martin Culvert in the Season 3 reboot episode, Paradise Lost. Music. The show's theme music was created by composer/performer Stuart Copeland. The track is called Busy Equalizing. An extended version appears on his album The Equalizer and Other Cliffhangers. 6 episodes in the 1988 season were scored by Joseph Conlon, and the final season was scored by Cameron Allen. Other episodes were scored by John Kakavas. The show ran for 4 seasons of 22 episodes each. It was initially renewed for a 5th season, causing Keith Sarabachka to turn down a role on Midnight Calla. However, the show was later canceled due to a row between CBS and Universal Studios over the renewal of Murder, She Wrote, 93. In the story of The Equalizer, created for the DVD box set, executive producer Coleman Locke also stated that Universal requested a script for a crossover episode with Magnum P.I. despite the objections of the Equalizer crew, as its dark tone was much different than Magnum's much lighter and sunnier style. Ultimately, the episode was never filmed, but its script was adapted and changed, ultimately airing as the episode Beyond Control. After the broadcast of the first episode in September 1985, the show received mixed reviews. Critic Tom Shales wrote in the Washington Post that, to judge from this very attractively atmospheric premiere, the show could become a welcome guest in many an American home. 106. However, for people, Jeff Jarvis wrote, the plot's confusing and the show's as erratic as a pacemaker on low batteries. 107. Visual Entertainment also released a limited edition complete series set on DVD on August 19, 2014. 117. The Equalizer Complete Collection limited edition set contains all 88 episodes plus 12 hours of bonus content including CI5, The New Professionals, the last film ever done by Edward Woodward, A Congregation of Ghosts, and the story of The Equalizer featuring interviews with cast and crew. In Region 2, Universal Playback UK released Season 1 on DVD on April 21, 2008. In late 2011, Fabulous Films announced that they had acquired the rights to the series. They have subsequently released Seasons 2, 4, 118. On May 27, 2013, Fabulous Films released The Equalizer, the complete collection on DVD, 119. This 24-disc box set contains all 88 episodes of the series as well as bonus content including an all-new documentary featuring interviews with cast and crew. Many fans have noted that the Region 1 version has had several of the originally used songs replaced. In fact, nearly 50% of all music apart from the theme and scoring by Stuart Copeland has been replaced by covers due to expired music licensing agreements and the costs which would be incurred in the US to have the licensing renewed. In contrast, the Region 2 version contains all of the original music intact. In November 2019, CBS announced that a reboot was in development with Queen Latifah in the lead role as Robin McCall. Andrew Marlowe and Terry Miller were named as showrunners with Latifah herself as an executive producer. 123. On January 27, 2020, CBS issued a pilot order for the new version, 124. The series was among the 14 pilots ordered by CBS in February 2020 and was fast-tracked to series the following March, as they are unable to film their pilots where Universal Television was shut down because of the COVID-19 pandemic. 125. Knopf was born November 13, 1954, in Madison, Wisconsin, the youngest of three boys, to news reporter Jean Parr, 1924 to 2016. 5. Parr was one of the first female correspondents for CBS News and host of her own CBS talk show The Jean Parr Show. 6. 7. Gate. His father was Charles James Knopf, 1922 to 1966, a marketing company vice president. 9. An insurance agent. 10. Who was a naval aviator in World War II and served as ensign on the USS Antietam during the Korean War. 5. 8. Charles came from a wealthy family in Chicago, and his mother had Irish ancestry that traces back to Knockbride in County Cavan. 5. 11. Knopf's family settled in Stamford, Connecticut, when he was 5. 7. 12. Knopf grew up in Connecticut while his parents worked in New York City. 13. His parents separated when he was 9 or 10, and his father died in a car accident in 1966 when Chris was 11. 5. 9. According to Knopf, losing my father left a crater in my life, and he found father figures in many teachers and certain friends of his mother's. 14. While Parr was working as a CBS News reporter in New York during the 1960s, Knopf often got into trouble. 15. He was into vandalism. 15. And was smoking marijuana. 16. And driving at a very young age. 15. During Parr's brief second marriage, the family moved to Southern California in 1969, returning to New York in the early 1970s. 8. 14. Knopf said that he started taking LSD with friends at age 15, once walking into someone else's house in Newport Beach while high and jumping naked off their pier into the water. 17. After Knopf took a neighbor's car for a joyride and it rolled into another neighbor's house, his mother sent him to an all-boys boarding school, Storm King School, where he spent his freshman year, 1968 to 1969. 15. 18. Knopf persuaded his mother to let him leave Storm King School to attend an experimental co-ed school called the Barlow School in Dutchess County, New York, instead. 12. 13. 15. Poet dissenter Peter Kane Dufault taught American history at the school. 19. 20. Knopf said Dufault was the best teacher he ever had. He opened up a way of life to me, a life of the imagination. He showed us that life can be developed and explored through poetry. 19. For Knopf, this school with young artist teachers, for many of us, not relating to our parents, it became our real home, and although the academics were a little shaky, 13, this art school, with no grades, completely changed his life to focus on the arts. 14. By 1973, he was totally into being a hippie with long hair. 12. After graduation, he moved to Brooklyn with his girlfriend when he was 18, 21, and worked at a school for the mentally disabled. 12. Knopf attended Marlborough College in Vermont, originally intending to be a writer or poet. He received a classically oriented education. 12. And studied English literature and religion. 23, 24. Although the college did not have a theater department, he discovered acting after joining the Repertory Theater Company to get out of Latin class. He first appeared on stage in the play She Stoops to Conquer, where he enjoyed the audience's unexpected laughter. 22. After acting in a production of The Zoo Story by Edward Albee, his goals were set on becoming a stage actor. 27. After graduation, He was eager to perform in the New York Repertory Theater, 12, but found that there was not much work for young actors in New York after arriving in late 1978. The first and only job he could get was as a daytime bartender at the Only Child restaurant, not realizing there was a brothel above the basement pub. He was accepted into the neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theater to study with acting teacher Sanford Meisner, 26. He stayed in maids' rooms for little or no money in exchange for cleaning the house on a weekly basis. The school did not allow students to work in the theater, and Knopf was expelled after a photo appeared of him in the New York Times acting in a 1979 Manhattan Theater Club play about an IRA bombing victim. He also studied script analysis, 32, with Stella Adler. Knopf did off-Broadway and was a bad waiter in a dozen different restaurants for 5 years. 12. He was fired from a number of restaurants, once for forgetting to return Governor Hugh Carey's credit card with the bill, and settled into cater waiter in bar mitzvahs and weddings. Knopf got his Actors Equity membership while at the Circle Rep Lab, 33, in Circle Repertory Company's 1980 production of Innocent Thoughts, Harmless Intentions. He played Soldier James Duke Wade in an Alaskan Army outpost in 1951-52, part of what the Christian Science Monitor called a convincing squad of Actors Equity enlisted men, in a play that was impressively acted. 34. He auditioned for Juilliard and Yale University and was accepted by both. 35. He chose the shorter 3-year degree at Yale School of Drama, where he got a scholarship. 25. 35. Knopf acted in 25 or more plays while studying at Yale School of Drama. 1. 36. Attending classes during the day and acting in plays at night. 37. Knopf's first-year acting project at Yale was the Maxim Gorky play The Lower Depths in 1982, 1983, 26, 28. In 1984, Frank Rich of the New York Times wrote that of the supporting cast, only Knopf's and Ray Aranya's performances leaves firm impressions. In the world premiere of the Wole Soyinka political satire A Play of Giants at Yale Repertory Theater, where Knopf played a sculptor creating a portrait of African dictators gathered at a United Nations embassy. 38. In 1985, Knopf acted in Keith Redden's Raw Men Coke at Yale Repertory Theater, a play about the orchestration of the Bay of Pigs invasion. 39. By Knopf's third year, he signed with an agent who saw him in a YSD production of Brendan Behan's The Hostage. 35. Knopf was also in Anton Chekhov's Three Sisters and William Shakespeare's Pericles, Prince of Tyre at YSD. Os Pedro Pascal, Spanish, Xosepiel Almasi Pacal, born April 2, 1975, known professionally as Pedro Pascal, is a Chilean and American actor. After nearly 2 decades of taking small roles on stage and television, Pascal had his breakout role as Oberyn Martell in the 4th season of the HBO fantasy series Game of Thrones, 2014. He gained further prominence with his portrayal of Javier Pena in the Netflix crime series Narcos, 2015-2017. He went on to appear in the films The Great Wall, 2016, Kingsman, The Golden Circle, 2017, The Equalizer II, 2018, and Triple Frontier, 2019. Pascal's leading roles as Din Djarin in the Disney Plus science fiction series The Mandalorian, 2019-2023, and Joel Miller in the HBO post-apocalyptic drama series The Last of Us, 2023-present, propelled him to international stardom, earning him a reputation for portraying adoptive father figures. His performance in The Last of Us earned him numerous accolades, including a Screen Actors Guild Award and nominations for 2 Primetime Emmy Awards and a Golden Globe Award. Pascal also portrays parental characters in We Can Be Heroes, 2020, Strange Way of Life, 2023, The Wild Robot, 2024, and The Fantastic Four: First Steps, 2025. He has also starred in the films Wonder Woman 1984, 2020, and Gladiator II, 2024. Active in theater since 1999, Pascal made his Broadway debut as Edmund in a 2019 adaptation of King Lear. Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2023. José Pedro Balmaceda Pascal was born on April 2, 1975, in Santiago, Chile, to Veronica Pascal Ureta, 1953–2000, a child psychologist, and José Balmaceda Riera, 1948, a reproductive endocrinologist. Pascal has an older sister, Javiera Balmaceda, yes, a producer at Amazon MGM Studios, a younger brother Nicholas, and a younger sister Lux, an actress. His paternal grandmother, Juanita, was born in Palma de Mallorca, Spain. Through his parents, Pascal is related to the aristocratic Allende and Balmaceda family. Pascal is the great-nephew of Laura Allende, a politician, and the second cousin of Denise Pascal, a Socialist Party politician, and Andrés Pascal Allende, a sociologist, former Secretary General of the Movement of the Revolutionary Left and prominent member of the Chilean Resistance and Solidarity Movement. 2 years before Pascal's birth, the democratically elected socialist government of President Salvador Allende was overthrown by General Augusto Pinochet, leading to the country becoming a military dictatorship. 14. Both of Pascal's parents were listed as enemies of the state by the Pinochet regime, and the family eventually fled Chile when he was 9 months old. 14. After seeking refuge in the Venezuelan embassy in Santiago for 6 months. 14. The family later received political asylum in Denmark. 15. 16. Before settling in the United States, where Pascal was raised in San Antonio, Texas. 17. Until they relocated to Orange County, California, when he was 11 years old. 16. By the time he was 8 years old, his family regularly visited Chile to see his 34 cousins. 18. His parents returned to Chile in 1995 after his father, Dr. José P. Balmaceda, was accused of stealing fertility patients' eggs and embryos and implanting them in other women without their knowledge and consent. 19. He pursued acting at the Orange County School of the Arts and graduated in 1993, before attending New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, where he graduated in 1997. 16. 20. After his mother's death, he began using his maternal surname professionally as a tribute to her, and because he felt that Americans had difficulty pronouncing his paternal surname, Balmaceda. My vision of it was that if I didn't have some major exposure by the time I was 29 years old, it was over, so I was constantly readjusting what it meant to commit my life to this profession, and giving up the idea of it looking like I thought it would when I was a kid. There were so many good reasons to let that delusion go. Pascal on his aspirations as an actor early in his career. Early in his career, Pascal appeared in several television series, including Buffy the Vampire Slayer, NYPD Blue, The Good Wife, Nurse Jackie, and Homeland. 22. Pascal experienced hard times during that point in his career. Besides working in small acting and theater roles, he took jobs waiting at restaurants. Pascal admitted that he was fired, often, upwards of, I don't know, maybe close to 10 times. 23. In times of extreme hardship, Pascal's close friend Sarah Paulson would give him her per diem money so that he could have money to feed himself. 21. At a point when he found difficulty in affording medical care, only having less than $7 in his bank account, he received a residual check from his role in Buffy, which helped him to restabilize his finances and allowed him to continue pursuing acting. 24. Pascal is a member of New York City's Labyrinth Theater Company. 25, he received the Los Angeles Drama Critics Circle Award and Garland Award for his role in the International Cine Theater production of Orphans, and has performed in classical and contemporary works. 26. In 2005, Pascal made his feature film debut in Julia Solomanoff's Sisters. 27. For Pascal's role, Solomanoff was looking for candidates with strong English language skills. In addition to meeting this requirement, Pascal, then credited as Balmaceda, was found to be someone with a very special face, very photogenic, with a kind of mystery, by Solomanoff. 28. In 2010, he wrote a play, directed by Sarah Silverman, Flock a Love's Bone, about 4 siblings who meet in a snowy wood to uncover a family secret. 29. Also in 2010, Pascal made his directorial debut with Killing Play, written by David Anzuelo, at Rattlestick Playwrights Theater. 30. He also directed Underneath Miped and Yosemite There. He was cast in the pilot for the 2011 Wonder Woman television adaptation as Ed Indelicato, Wonder Woman's liaison to the LAPD, but the show was not picked up. In 2014, Pascal portrayed the character Oberyn Martell in the 4th season of HBO's critically acclaimed television series Game of Thrones. 35. The season aired from April 6 to June 15, 2014, and Pascal's performance as the passionate and vengeful Dornish prince garnered significant praise from both critics and audiences, with numerous publications, including CNET, The Mary Sue, 37, Ton, 38, and Esquire naming Martell as one of the best characters in the show. 39. The Los Angeles Times praised him as a sex symbol in the role, calling it the real tipping point in his career. 40. Pascal stated that he was a huge fan of the show before being cast as Oberyn and was ecstatic to join. 41. As part of the ensemble, he has received a Screen Actors Guild Awards nomination for Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble in a Drama Series. In 2015, Pascal portrayed the vampire Max in Blood-Sucking Bastards. 43. In April, Pascal co-starred with Heidi Klum in the music video for Sia's Fire Meet Gasoline. 44. In August, Pascal gained further recognition for his portrayal as Javier Pena, based on a real-life DEA agent, in the popular Netflix crime drama series Narcos. The show's 2 first seasons depict the rise and fall of the infamous drug lord Pablo Escobar and the subsequent Medellin cartel, as the show's focus shifted to the Cali cartel for its 3rd and final season. Pascal took on the role of both lead actor and narrator. In 2016, he portrayed mercenary Pero Tovar in the fantasy action film The Great Wall, alongside Matt Damon, and directed by Jean Imo. 47. Set against the backdrop of the Great Wall of China, the film follows European mercenaries who become embroiled in a battle against ancient creatures threatening humanity. Despite the film's visually stunning production and ambitious scope, it received mixed reviews for its narrative and character development. 48. Filmed on location in Qingdao, China. 49. Pascal has voiced his admiration for Jean, whom he had been a fan of during his youth. In 2017, Pascal portrayed the charismatic and skilled operative within the Statesman organization, Jack Daniels, also known as Agent Wisty, in Matthew Vaughn's Kingsman: The Golden Circle. 51. Writing for Collider, Chris Sasagway called his character one cool cowboy, observing his genuine love for getting into a cutthroat brawl, and praising the playful side that comes so easily to Pascal, which isn't lost in playing Wisty, turning him into a worthy new character to stand beside. The Kingsman Agents. In 2018, he starred as Dave York, the main antagonist, against Denzel Washington in the thriller sequel film The Equalizer II. 53. In Prospect, Pascal portrayed the character Ezra, a seasoned and enigmatic prospector navigating a dangerous alien moon in search of valuable resources. CNET's Monisha Ravazetti was delightfully surprised when Pedro Pascal showed up in a burnt orange spacesuit, 54, and Deus Johnston retroactively compared the role to Pascal's future characters in The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, writing for Inverse. Pedro Pascal plays a gruff man who only looks out for himself until a child softens his heart. 55, in If Beale Street Could Talk. Directed by Barry Jenkins and based on James Baldwin's 1974 novel, Pascal made a cameo appearance as Pietro Alvarez, a frivolous yet crucial character who ultimately reveals a compassionate and empathetic side. In February 2019, Pascal made his Broadway debut in an adaptation of King Lear with Glenda Jackson and Ruth Wilson, where he took on the role of Edmund, the cunning and ambitious illegitimate son of the Earl of Gloucester. Since 2019, Pascal has portrayed the title role in The Mandalorian, the first live-action Star Wars television series, which debuted on Disney+. The show follows the adventures of a lone bounty hunter in the outer reaches of the galaxy. 59. The role brought Pascal much wider recognition, and would later help establish him for his portrayals of father figures. 60. The same year, he starred as Francisco Catfish Morales in the Netflix heist drama Triple Frontier. 61, in which he portrays a helicopter pilot. In 2020, he portrayed Maxwell Lord in the DC Extended Universe film Wonder Woman 1984, directed by Patty Jenkins. Following delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the film was released to theaters and HBO Max in December 2020. 63. 64. The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw called Pascal's character a version of Norman Vincent Peale, the positive thinking guru who was such an influence on Presidents Nixon and Trump. 65. The New York Times and the BBC both thought that Pascal was miscast for the role. 66. 67. In the film We Can Be Heroes, he played Marcus Moreno. Screen Rant commented on the paternal aspect of the character. It certainly should be the case that Pascal's fatherly role in a children's movie portrays him as a truly loving and caring father, and that's exactly what the character does. 68. In early 2021, a video from a 2020 virtual play reading of My Ruination surfaced on multiple social media platforms of Pascal laughing hysterically then transitioning smoothly into crying. 69. 70. The video quickly became an internet meme, often being paired with the Beach House song, Space Song, to display themes of tragedy on social media. 71. In 2022, Pascal co-starred with Nicolas Cage in the action-comedy film The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. His performance was widely praised by critics. 72. The scene in which Pascal's character looks at a gruff and irritated Cage with a grin on his face while driving under the influence of LSD would spawn another internet meme on TikTok. It is commonly used humorously when two parties are in stark disagreement or conflict with each other over a topic in an exaggeratedly emotional fashion, and is paired with the 1969 Mama Cass song, Make Your Own Kind of Music. 73. 74. 75. Pascal also appeared in The Bubble, Judd Apatow's satirical comedy exploring celebrity culture amidst the pandemic. 76. Reviewing the film for the AV Club, Luke Y. Thompson called Pascal's character Dieter Bravo womanizer, and noted that the character's fake ethnic accent skewers what he likely has to endure regularly. 77. Shot during the COVID-19 pandemic, the film portrays the protocols adopted during filming due to the event as purposely a little off-center. 78. He starred in Neo Meal's Women's Tales series short film, directed by Janixa Bravo, titled House Comes with a Bird. 79. In November, he signed with creative artists agency, Beatty. In 2023, Pascal starred in HBO's highly anticipated television adaptation, The Last of Us, based on the critically acclaimed 2013 video game, created by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann. 81, he took on the role of Joel Miller, a hardened survivor in a post-apocalyptic world, tasked with protecting a young girl named Ellie, played by Bella Ramsey. Pascal reportedly received $600,000 per episode. 82, Empire's John Nugent and Slash Films' Valerie Ettenhofer praised Pascal's performance as the best of his career, citing his ability to portray nuance and rare vulnerability. 83, 84, Druckmann called Ramsey and Pascal's chemistry a joy. 85, the characterization of the paternal dynamic in the role and the similarity of his character in The Mandalorian earned Pascal international recognition for portraying adoptive father figures. 60, this massive surge in popularity led him to become dubbed Daddy in internet culture. 86, around this time, Pascal became a prominent figure in meme culture, with several memes of him achieving viral status, including a meme from a clip of Pascal eating a sandwich during a guest episode of Lad Bibble's Snack Wars YouTube series, in which he appeared with The Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau. 70, 87, several popular memes of Pascal were derived from The Last of Us episode, Kin, such as one from a scene where Joel is portrayed as having a panic attack. 88, 89. And others relating to his character's tendency to lean on furniture throughout the episode due to being in a constant state of fear. In February 2023, he hosted a Saturday Night Live episode, with Coldplay as the musical guest. 91. In April, he was added to the cast of Ethan Coen's 2024 film Drive Away Dolls. 92, and Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world. 1. In May, he co-starred in the short film Strange Way of Life alongside Ethan Hawke, directed by Pedro Almodovar. He played Silva, who reunites with Hawke's Jake in the Choose Older Age. 93. Pascal previously expressed his admiration for and desire to work with Almodovar. 94. 95. Screen Rant noted it as another example of Pascal taking a role with the dad archetype. 68. In June, Pascal was named by Carnegie Corporation of New York as an honoree of the Great Immigrants Award. 96. In July, Pascal made history as the first Latino to receive 3 nominations in the same year for the 75th Primetime Emmy Awards. 97. The nominations included Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series for his portrayal in The Last of Us, Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series for his guest hosting role in an episode of Saturday Night Live, and Outstanding Narrator for his narration in Patagonia, Life on the Edge of the World. 98. In January 2024, he starred in Freaky Tales, directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. 99. In June, musician Omar Apollo released his second studio album, God Said No, where Pascal features on the penultimate track, Pedro, where he contributes a monologue about his heart being shattered by something. 100. In the animated feature The Wild Robot, he portrayed Fink, a fox who plays a parental role to a goose named Bright Bill alongside Lupita Nyong'o's robot Roz. 101. He next starred in Gladiator 2, the sequel to Ridley Scott's 2000 film Gladiator. 102. 103. At the end of 2024, he was polled as Grindr's Hottest Man of the Year. 104. In 2025, Pascal appeared in director Celine Song's romantic comedy Materialists, Ari Aster's Neil Western thriller Eddington, and took on a major franchise role as Reed Richards / Mr. Fantastic in the Marvel Cinematic Universe film The Fantastic Four: First Steps. 105, 106, 107. This role is set to be a recurring one in the MCU, as he is slated to reprise the character in the sequels Avengers: Doomsday, 2026, and Avengers: Secret Wars, 2027, in addition to the Star Wars film The Mandalorian and Grogu, 2026. where he will return to voice his iconic character, Din Djarin, 108. Pascal's forthcoming projects include starring in director Todd Haynes' film De Noche, meaning by night, in Spanish. The project is described as a 1930s set, sexually explicit gay romance about two men fleeing Los Angeles for Mexico, and Pascal's casting in late 2025 was crucial in reviving the production after it had been stalled. 109, 110. Furthermore, he took on the lead role of Alex Syrian in the thriller film Behemoth, written and directed by Tony Gilroy, which began principal photography in late 2025. The film, acquired by Searchlight Pictures, centers on a child prodigy cellist and studio musician whose return to Hollywood triggers a rush of traumatic memories. He developed a close friendship with actress Sarah Paulson soon after moving to New York City in 1993. 16, 113. Pascal is also close friends with Oscar Isaac, as the two actors met while appearing in a 2005 off-Broadway production of Beauty of the Father. 114, 115. Isaac and Pascal would later appear together in the 2019 film Triple Frontier. 116. While filming The Last of Us, he became close friends with Bella Ramsey, calling himself and Ramsey linked souls. Pascal has generally kept his romantic life private and has never publicly confirmed any romantic relationship. He has spoken about his choice to keep his personal life separate from his public persona. He explained his decision to keep personal relationships out of the public eye by saying, "I just know that personal relationships are such a complex thing to navigate even without having this enormous lens on them." Pascal identifies as an agnostic and a progressive liberal. 119. He is an advocate of LGBTQ+ rights and was supportive of his sister Lux Pascal when she came out as transgender. Lux said, "He has been an important part of this. He is also an artist and has been a guy. He was one of the first to give me the things that formed my identity." 120, 121. Pascal has described his protective side as lethal when discussing his sister. 122. In April 2025, Pascal appeared at the London premiere of Marvel's Thunderbolts * wearing a "Protect the Dolls" t-shirt, a statement piece by designer Connor Ives where "dolls" is a term often used to refer to transgender women. His choice to wear the shirt came shortly before Pascal condemned author J.K. Rowling, calling her a "heinous loser" in an Instagram comment, after she celebrated the For Women Scotland Ltd v the Scottish Minister's ruling, which allowed for the exclusion of trans women from single-sex services for women. On Christmas Eve 2023, Pascal called for a ceasefire in the Gaza war and urged donations to Doctors Without Borders. 125, 126. On March 1, 2025, Pascal posted in support of Ukraine on Instagram, writing, "Stay on the right side of history. Glory to Ukraine." After U.S. President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance's public criticisms of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. 127. In May 2025, Pascal signed an open letter criticizing the film industry's passivity during the ongoing Gaza genocide. 128. On January 10, 2026, Pascal and American-Palestinian model Bella Hadid will host an Artists for Aid benefit concert at the Fonda Theater in Los Angeles to support humanitarian relief in Palestine and Sudan. The event is organized by Sudanese-Canadian musician Mustafa, and all proceeds will be split between the Sudanese American Physicians Association and the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. The concert will feature performances by artists including Mustafa, Omar Apollo, Claro, Snowy Allegra, and Shawn Mendes, among others. Ashton Sanders, born October 24, 1995, 2, is an American actor best known for his portrayal of teenage Chiron in the Academy Award-winning film Moonlight, 2016. He has since acted in films such as The Equalizer II, 2018, All Day and a Night, 2020, and Judas and the Black Messiah, 2020. He portrayed Bigger Thomas in Native Son, 2019, and Bobby Brown in Whitney Houston, I Wanna Dance with Somebody, 2022. Sanders was born in Carson, California. He attended Grand Arts High School in downtown Los Angeles, from which he graduated in 2014. He was studying towards a BFA at the theater school at DePaul University, before leaving after 3 years in 2016 to focus on his acting career. Sanders made his film debut in The Retrieval, directed by Chris Eska. The film had its world premiere at South by Southwest on March 11, 2013. It was released in a limited release on April 2, 2014, by Variance Films. 9. In 2015, Sanders had a small role in Straight Outta Compton. 10. In 2016, he appeared in an episode of Refinery 29's web series The Skinny. In the same year, Sanders appeared in the drama film Moonlight, directed by Barry Jenkins. 12. The film had its world premiere at the Telluride Film Festival on September 2, 2016, and began a limited release on October 21, 2016, by A24. 14. Moonlight received massive critical acclaim as well as dozens of accolades, including the Golden Globe Award for Best Picture, Drama. 15. The film also won 3 Academy Awards for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Supporting Actor for Mahershala Ali. 16. Sanders' role in the film was praised by critics. Wink with a frown. 17. Benjamin Lee of The Guardian called his performance powerful. Sanders co-starred in The Equalizer II, a sequel to the hit action film The Equalizer, opposite Denzel Washington. 19. In 2019, Sanders starred in Rupert Wyatt's science fiction thriller film Captive State, opposite John Goodman and Vera Farmiga. 20. He also played the lead in HBO's adaptation of the novel Native Son. Sanders was cast as Bobby Harzia Dix on the Hulu biographical drama series Wu-Tang, an American Saga. The series ran for 3 seasons from September 4, 2019, to April 5, 2023. In November 2020, he was set to star in The Things They Carried, a Vietnam War movie with an ensemble cast. In September 2021, Sanders was cast as Bobby Brown in Whitney Houston, I Wanna Dance with Somebody, a biopic feature on Whitney Houston. Melissa Chessington Leo, born September 14, 1962, is an American actress. She is the recipient of several accolades, including an Academy Award, a Primetime Emmy Award, a Golden Globe Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and 2 Critics' Choice Awards. After appearing on several television shows and films in the 1980s, Leo became a regular on the television shows All My Children, for which she was nominated for a Daytime Emmy Award, and The Young Writers. Her breakthrough role came in 1993 as Detective and later Sergeant Kay Howard on the television series Homicide: Life on the Street, 1993 to 1997. Leo received critical acclaim for her performance as Ray Eddy in the 2008 film Frozen River, earning her several nominations and awards, including an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. In 2010, Leo won several awards for her performance as Alice Eklund Ward in the film The Fighter, including the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. In 2013, she won a Primetime Emmy Award for her guest role on the television series Louie. She starred in the 2015 Fox event series Wayward Pines as Nurse Pam. She then starred in the 2017 Netflix film The Most Hated Woman in America as American Atheists founder Madalyn Murray O'Hair. Early life. Leo was born in Manhattan and grew up on the Lower East Side. 3. She is the daughter of Margaret, née Chessington, a California-born teacher, and Arnold Leo III, an editor at Grove Press, fisherman, and former spokesman for the East Hampton Baymen's Association. She has an older brother, Derek Leo. 4. Her paternal aunt is art historian Christine Leo Roussel. 5. Leo's parents divorced, and her mother moved them to Red Clover Commune, in Putney, Vermont. 2. Leo began performing as a child with the Bread and Puppet Theater Company. She attended Bellows Falls High School in Bellows Falls, Vermont, and studied acting at Mount View Academy of Theatre Arts in London and Sooty Purchase, but did not graduate, choosing to leave school and move to New York City to begin auditioning for acting jobs. 6, 7, 8, 9. Leo spent summers at her father's house in Springs, a section of East Hampton, New York. 3, 10. Career. Leo's acting debut came in 1984, for which she was nominated for a Daytime Emmy at the 12th Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Ingenue/Woman in a Drama Series for All My Children. Following this, Leo appeared in several films, including Streetwalkin', A Time of Destiny, Last Summer in the Hamptons, and Venice/Venice. She also had several appearances on television, most notably her role as Detective Sergeant Kay Howard on Homicide: Life on the Street until 1997. 3 years later she reprised her role in the television film Homicide: The Movie. After a brief hiatus from acting, Leo's breakthrough came 3 years later in the Alejandro González Iñárritu film, 21 Grams, released to critical acclaim. Leo appeared in a supporting role alongside Sean Penn, Naomi Watts, Benicio del Toro, and Clea Duvall. Leo shared a Best Ensemble Acting Award from the Phoenix Film Critics Society in 2003 and the runner-up for the Los Angeles Film Critics Association for Best Supporting Actress. Leo in January 2006. Leo appeared in supporting roles throughout the 2000s, including the film Hide and Seek, the independent film American Gun, both in 2005, and a minor role in the comedy Mr. Woodcock. In 2006, she won the Bronze Wrangler at the Western Heritage Awards for Outstanding Theatrical Motion Picture for The Three Burials of Melquiades Estrada, shared with Tommy Lee Jones, who also produced the film. In 2008, she won the Maverick Actor Award and also the Best Actress Award at the Meted Fest for Lullaby, 2008. That same year, Leo earned critical praise for her performance in the film Frozen River, winning several awards, including the Best Actress Award from the Independent Spirit Awards, the Spotlight Award from the National Board of Review, and Best Actress nominations from the Screen Actors Guild Awards, Broadcast Film Critics Association, and Academy Awards. Critic Roger Ebert backed her for a win, stating, "Best Actress, Melissa Leo. What a complete performance, evoking a woman's life in a time of economic hardship. The most timely of films, but that isn't reason enough. I was struck by how intensely determined she was to make the payments, support her 2 children, carry on after her abandonment by a gambling husband, and still maintain rules and goals around the house. This was a heroic woman." 11. Following Frozen River, Leo continued to appear in several independent films, and had a minor role in the 2008 film Righteous Till, with Al Pacino and her Hide and Seek co-star, Robert De Niro. Leo appeared in a series of films throughout 2009, including According to Greta, the title character in Stephanie's Image, True Adolescence, and Veronica Decides to Die. In 2010, Leo received fame for her role in David O. Russell's The Fighter. Rick Bentley of the Charlotte Observer said, "Both actors, Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale, are very good, but they get blown off the screen by Melissa Leo, who plays their mother, Alice Ward. Leo's Oscar-worthy portrayal of Alice as a master manipulator goes beyond acting to a total transformation. 12. Roger Ebert referred to it as a teeth-gratingly brilliant performance. Leo and several of the film's actors, including her co-star Amy Adams and Bale, were nominated. For her performance, Leo received several awards, including the Golden Globe, Dallas-Fort Worth Film Critics Association, New York Film Critics Circle, Screen Actors Guild, and culminating in her winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. While accepting her Oscar, Leo said, "When I watched Kate 2 years ago, it looked so fucking easy." She apologized afterwards for using profanity, admitting that it was a very inappropriate place to use that particular word. Those words, "I apologize to anyone that they offend." 13-14. Prior to her win, Leo had created some controversy by attempting to self-promote her Oscar campaign, rather than rely on the marketing department of the studio. Leo personally bought ad space in Hollywood trade publications, which was initially thought might backfire in a similar manner to previous Oscar contenders Jill Wells and Margaret Avery. 15. Following her Oscar win, Leo appeared in the HBO miniseries Mildred Pierce alongside Kate Winslet, Evan Rachel Wood, and Guy Pearce. Her performance garnered an Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Miniseries or a Movie. Her next projects include the satirical horror film Red State, the independent comedy Predisposed with Jesse Eisenberg currently in pre-production, 16, and the crime thriller The Dead Circus based on the novel by John Kay with Michael C. Hall and James Marsden currently in development. 17. She guest starred in an episode of the hit FX comedy Louie, which garnered her an Emmy win for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series. Leo appeared in the action thriller Olympus Has Fallen as Ruth McMillan, the Secretary of Defense who was held hostage by terrorists in the White House, and Oblivion as the main antagonist Sally. She reprised her role in the Olympus sequel London Has Fallen. Leo appeared in supporting roles in the thriller films Prisoners, The Equalizer, and The Equalizer II, having previously appeared as Russian ballerina Irina Dershinsky in The Defector, a 1985 episode of the original series. Leo appeared on the Fox series Wayward Pines as Nurse Pam. Personal life. In 1987, Leo had a son with actor John Hurd, whom she dated from 1986 to 1988, while living in Manhattan. 1. Leo then moved to Stone Ridge, New York, where a 200-year-old farmhouse was her permanent residence for 3 decades, though she often traveled and lived elsewhere temporarily for work. 18, 19. In 2019, she moved back to Manhattan. She moved out of the city during the COVID-19 pandemic, but returned in 2023. 19. Leo publicly rejected the label of feminist in statements made during a 2012 interview with Salon. "I don't think of myself as a feminist at all. As soon as we start labeling and categorizing ourselves and others, that's going to shut down the world. I would never say that." 20. She reiterated these sentiments in a 2017 interview. Knopf played small parts in films, including Smithereens, 1982, and Baby Boom, 1987, 73, before his first starring role in the low-budget 1988 film Peluru dan Wanita, Bullets and Women, in Indonesia. Knopf joined the cast of Hill Street Blues in the 6th season in 1986, where he was billed as Christopher Knopf. He also appeared in Another World. Knopf filmed the pilot for the legal/police drama series Law and Order in 1988, playing NYPD homicide detective Mike Logan, 74. In 1990, NBC began airing Law and Order. Knopf was fired from the show in 1995, due largely to creative friction with series creator Dick Wolf, 75. He reprised the role of Logan in 1998 for the Law and Order television film, Exiled, a Law and Order movie, 76. In 1995, Knopf had a supporting role in a CBS miniseries adaptation of the Sidney Sheldon novel Nothing Lasts Forever, where he and Vanessa Williams portrayed lovers who are medical residents in a San Francisco hospital. 77, 78, 79. Knopf appeared in a 1997 episode of the TV series Touched by an Angel. 80. In the 1997 television miniseries Rough Riders on TNT, he portrayed Craig Wadsworth, a member of the 1st United States Volunteer Cavalry. 81, 82. From 1998 to 2004, Knopf took the role of Carrie Bradshaw's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Big, on HBO's Sex and the City. 83, 84. The role established Knopf as a romantic comedian. 35, and he reprised it for the 2008 Sex and the City film and its 2010 sequel. 84. He had a small role as Helen Hunt's husband in the film Castaway. 2000. Starring Tom Hanks. 42, 85. In 2001, he played an FBI agent on a 3-episode arc of Crossing Jordan. 86. From 2005 to 2008, Knopf returned to the role of Mike Logan on Law and Order: Criminal Intent, joining the show in its 5th season following a guest appearance on a 4th season episode. On this spin-off of the original Law and Order, Knopf's detective team alternated episodes with Vincent D'Onofrio and Catherine Irby's characters. 87, 88. In the 2005 rom-com film, The Perfect Man, Knopf's portrayal of the romance expert from whom Hilary Duff's lead character models a secret admirer for her mother was described as appealing in a thinly written role by Variety. In 2012, Knopf narrated I Didn't Do It, a 6-part crime documentary series about wrongful convictions produced by Toronto's Lively Media for Discovery Canada and Investigation Discovery. 95, and portrayed tycoon J.P. Morgan, who helped finance the Titanic, in the Encore Channel miniseries Titanic, Blood and Steel. 96, 97. In 2013, he portrayed Anthony Romano, a financier of Deep Throat, in the film Lovelace. 98, 99. In 2014, Knopf played the son-in-law of an aging man, Fred, portrayed by Christopher Plummer in the film Elsa and Fred. 100, 101. In the 2015 film After the Ball, Knopf played a head of a Montreal fashion company. 102, 103. In 2016, Knopf joined the 3rd season of the FX/Fox 21 television studios produced series Tyrant in the regular role of U.S. General William Cogswell, who offers military support to the interim president of a fictional Middle Eastern country that is trying to start a social democracy. 16, 104, 105. A review of Knopf's first Tyrant episode likened General Cogswell to his Peter Florrick character in The Good Wife. 105. In an interview before the episode aired, Knopf said he was pretty much done with parts that resemble Mr. Big or Peter Florrick, 106. He was turning to darker roles after years of playing, mostly, good guys on his 3 hit TV shows. 16. Knopf portrayed a sleazy lawyer in the 2016 film White Girl. 107, 16, 108. In the 2016 film Chronically Metropolitan, Knopf's portrayal of a philandering professor/novelist was praised by The Hollywood Reporter for infusing his familiar feel-in character with intriguing nuances, and as very good by the Los Angeles Times. 109, 110. In 2017, Knopf played FBI agent Don Ackerman on the Discovery Channel series Manhunt, Unabomber, about the hunt for the serial killer Ted Kaczynski, and was the narrator for the Sharks and the City, New York episode of Discovery Channel's Shark Week. 111, 112, 113. Knopf also portrayed FBI agent Frank Novak in Gone, a 12-episode procedural drama produced by NBC Universal. 114, 115, 116. The New York Post wrote in its review of the show that Knopf, who's always reliable, is fine here, but doesn't have much to do other than set up each storyline and then bark lots of orders. 116. In 2018, Knopf played Jack Robertson in the Doctor Who episode Arachnids in the UK and returned to the show in 2021 New Year's Day special, Revolution of the Daleks. 117, 118, 119. In 2021, Knopf played the lead role of William Bishop in CBS reboot crime drama series The Equalizer, which was written by Andrew W. Marlowe and Terry Etta Miller. 120. The same year, Knopf reprised his role as Mr. Big N and Just Like That, The Sex and the City continuation, 3, where he was killed off, leading to a subsequent Peloton advertisement in the role. 121. By the end of the year, he was fired and the ad was pulled due to allegations of sexual assault. 122. Knopf moved with his family to the Los Angeles suburb of Sherman Oaks. He owns an apartment in Greenwich Village that he has had since 1994, 30, and another in a Lenox Hill co-op since 2017. The family has a summer house in the Berkshires on the edge of Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Sexual misconduct allegations. On December 16, 2021, Knopf was accused of sexual assault by two women, who used the names Lily and Zoe, with one woman alleging that Knopf cheated on his wife when he assaulted her. Both women, who did not know each other, contacted The Hollywood Reporter months apart. 139. The incidents allegedly occurred in Los Angeles in 2004 and in New York in 2015. 140. He denied the allegations, claiming the incidents were consensual and that he did not cross the line of no means no. 141, 142. The next day, actress and screenwriter Zoe Lister-Jones alleged that Knopf was consistently sexually inappropriate when she worked with him on a 2005 episode of Law and Order: Criminal Intent. Was her sexual predator and was drunk while filming his scenes. 143. Subsequently, he was dropped by a free artists agency. 144. On December 18, 2021, another woman accused Knopf of sexual assault in New York in 2010, saying that when she was 18 he forcibly kissed her and removed her tights in an effort to digitally penetrate her. 145. Knopf's publicist denied the incident happened and said Knopf did not know the woman. 145. On December 23, 2021, singer-songwriter Lisa Gentile accused Knopf of sexually assaulting her in New York in 2002. She said he forcibly kissed her and grabbed and squeezed her breasts. 146. In the wake of the allegations, a $12 million deal for Entertainment Arts Research Incorporated to buy Knopf's tequila brand Amhar was canceled. 147. A Peloton commercial starring Knopf and Ryan Reynolds was pulled from the air. 147. And he was dismissed partway through the second season of The Equalizer. His character, William Bishop, was killed off-screen. 122. A second appearance as Big in the season finale of And Just Like That was also scrapped. 148. And he made no third appearance in Doctor Who. Super Bowl 55 was an American football game played to determine the champion of the National Football League, NFL, for the 2020 season. The National Football Conference, NFC, champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated the American Football Conference, AFC, Kansas City Chiefs, 31-9, 7. The game was played on February 7, 2021, at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, the home stadium of the Buccaneers. marking the first time a team played a Super Bowl in its home stadium. 8, 9, 10. Due to COVID-19 protocols limiting the stadium's seating capacity to 25,000 fans, it was the least attended Super Bowl. 11. The Buccaneers' victory was their second and made them one of two teams, along with the Baltimore Ravens, to be undefeated in multiple Super Bowls. They finished the regular season with an 11-5 record and a wild card berth to advance to their second Super Bowl appearance through the guidance of several new acquisitions, most notably 21-year veteran quarterback Tom Brady in his first season away from the New England Patriots. The Chiefs, aided by their top-ranked offense, finished the regular season with a league best 14-2 record to advance to their fourth Super Bowl appearance and were the defending Super Bowl 54 champions, seeking to become the first repeat champions since the Patriots in 2004. 12. For the first time under quarterback Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs failed to score a touchdown and lost by double digits, making them the third Super Bowl team not to score a touchdown. See, 13. They also committed 11 penalties for 120 yards, including a record 8 penalties for 95 yards in the first half, most of which were called against the defense. 14, 15, 16, 17. The Buccaneers capitalized on these struggles to take a 21-6 lead at halftime and dominated the remainder of the game. Brady, who also extended his player records for Super Bowl appearances to 10 and wins to 7, was named Super Bowl MVP for a record fifth time and was the first to receive the award with multiple franchises. 18, 19, 20. He became the oldest player to receive the honor and win a Super Bowl as the starting quarterback at age 43, 21, breaking additional personal records, while Bruce Arians was the oldest head coach to win the Super Bowl at 68, 22. The game was televised nationally by CBS. Country music singer Eric Church and R&B singer Jasmine Sullivan performed the national anthem, while the halftime show was headlined by Canadian singer The Weeknd. 5. On television, Super Bowl 55 was seen by 91.63 million viewers, the lowest ratings for the game since 2006. Combined with viewership on other platforms, viewership was down by 5% overall in comparison to Super Bowl 54, but with a 69% increase in average streaming viewership. Background. Host selection process. Raymond James Stadium, decorated for Super Bowl 55, January 31, 2021. On May 19, 2015, the league announced the 4 finalists for hosting Super Bowl 53 in 2019 and Super Bowl 54 in 2020. NFL team owners voted on these cities on May 24, 2016, with the first round of voting determining the host for Super Bowl 53, and the second round deciding the site for Super Bowl 54. In a development not known in advance, a third round of voting was added to select a Super Bowl 55 hosting site. 23. Atlanta and Miami were awarded Super Bowls 53 and LIV respectively, removing them from the running for LV. Los Angeles was not eligible for Super Bowl 53, as their stadium was under construction and would not yet be finished. It was eligible for LIV and LV, and opted to bid only on the latter. 24. The 2 candidates were Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. Tampa had hosted 4 Super Bowls, the last being Super Bowl 43 in 2009. SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. Los Angeles had hosted the Super Bowl 7 times, most recently in 1993 with Super Bowl 27. That game, along with the 4 prior Super Bowls in the area, was held at the Rose Bowl, while the first 2 Super Bowls in the Los Angeles area were held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Los Angeles was originally chosen as the host site for Super Bowl 55 in a vote on May 24, 2016. 24, 25. 26. However, due to construction delays, authorities announced that the stadium would not be completed until the start of the 2020 NFL season. 27. On May 23, 2017, NFL owners voted unanimously, with the Rams' approval, to move Super Bowl 55 to Tampa. The city of Inglewood instead hosted Super Bowl 56 in 2022. 28. Impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Outside Raymond James Stadium, 1 week prior to Super Bowl 55. See also, impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on sports and COVID-19 pandemic in Florida. As of the start of the 2020 NFL season, the league had forbidden on-field entertainment, such as halftime shows and national anthem performances at games with fans. These elements, which have historically been cornerstones of the Super Bowl entertainment, would have been produced off-site had restrictions remained in place. 29. In case a COVID-19 outbreak forced the postponements of regular season and playoff games, the league stated that Super Bowl 55 could have been delayed as far as February 28, 30. The state of Florida removed capacity restrictions for sporting events in October, although the 3 Florida-based teams have voluntarily maintained 20 to 25% capacity limits. 31. As of late October 2020, the NFL was planning a minimum attendance of 20% of capacity, in hopes that a larger capacity would be possible by game day. 32. Kansas City's offense ranked first in the NFL in yards, 6,653, and sixth in points score, 473. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes made the Pro Bowl for the 3rd consecutive season, throwing for 4,740 yards, second in the league, and 38 touchdowns, with only 6 interceptions, while also finishing the season as Kansas City's second leading rusher with a career-high 308 yards and 2 scores. His main target was Pro Bowl tight end Travis Kelce, who caught 105 passes for 1,416 yards and 11 touchdowns, making him the NFL's second leading receiver and setting a new league record for receiving yards by a tight end. 47. Pro Bowl receiver Tyreek Hill had 87 receptions for 1,276 yards and 15 touchdowns, while also rushing for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mahomes also had receivers Demarcus Robinson, 45 receptions for 466 yards, Mecole Hardman, 41 reception for 561 yards and 360 return yards on special teams, and Sammy Watkins, 37 receptions for 421 yards. The team's leading rusher from 2019, Damian Williams, opted out of the 2020 season due to COVID-19 concerns and because his mother had recently been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. 48. In his place, rookie running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire stepped up to fill the void, rushing for 808 yards and 4 touchdowns, while also catching 36 passes for 297 yards and another touchdown. Tackle Eric Fisher led the Chiefs' offensive line, earning a Pro Bowl selection. However, he was forced to miss the Super Bowl after suffering a torn Achilles tendon in the AFC Championship game. 49. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, a starting guard for the 2019 season, was first NFL player to announce he would not play the season because of COVID-19, instead working as an orderly at a Montreal long-term care facility during the pandemic. 50. 51. On special teams, kicker Harrison Butker made 25 of 27 field goals, including all 4 of his attempts from over 50 yards. 52. During the 2020 offseason, the Buccaneers chose not to re-sign quarterback Jameis Winston, whom they selected first overall in 2015. To replace Winston, they made arguably the biggest off-season acquisition by signing 20-year veteran Tom Brady, one of the NFL's most decorated players. 55. The signing marked the first time that Brady would play for a team other than the New England Patriots, where he was considered the offensive engine of the franchise's dynasty. Tight end Rob Gronkowski, Brady's teammate in New England and considered one of the greatest in his position, was lured out of retirement and acquired through a trade with the Patriots. 56. Further off-season acquisitions included running back Leonard Fournette, 57, running back LaShawn McCoy, and place kicker Ryan Succop, 58. In the 2020 NFL Draft, Tampa Bay bolstered their offensive line by selecting tackle Tristan Wirfs 13th overall, 59. After Week 6, they signed accomplished, but controversial wide receiver Antonio Brown, who had been out of the league for over a year, 60. Tampa Bay's offense was ranked 7th in league yards, 6,145, and 3rd in points score, 492. The 43-year-old Brady threw for 4,633 yards and 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and rushed for 3 touchdowns. His main targets were Mike Evans, who caught 70 passes for 1,006 yards and 13 touchdowns, Chris Godwin, who caught 65 passes for 840 yards and 7 touchdowns, and Rob Gronkowski, who caught 45 passes for 623 yards and 7 touchdowns. Brady also had other receivers to go to with Scotty Miller, 33 passes, 501 yards and 3 touchdowns, Antonio Brown, 44 catches, 483 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Cameron Brate, 28 catches, 282 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ronald Jones was the team's leading rusher with 978 yards and 7 touchdowns, while also catching 28 passes for 165 yards and another touchdown. Leonard Fournette also added 367 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns, while also hauling in 36 passes. Kicker Ryan Succop ranked 6th in the NFL with 136 points, making 28 of 31 field goal attempts, 61. Tampa Bay's defense was ranked 6th in the league in yardage allowed, 5,234. The defensive line was anchored by defensive ends Ndamukong Suh, 6 sacks, and William Golston, 20 quarterback hits and 8 tackles for loss. The line was also aided by edge rushing outside linebackers Jason Pierre-Paul, the team's lone Pro Bowl selection, 91 half sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and Shaquille Barrett, 8 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. The team also had linebackers Devin White, 140 tackles and 9 sacks, and Levante David, 117 tackles and 3 forced fumbles. Cornerback Carlton Davis led the team with 4 interceptions, while rookie safety Antoine Winfield Jr. added 94 tackles, 1 interception, and 3 sacks, 61-62. Playoffs. Main article, 2020-21 NFL Playoffs. The Chiefs won the AFC West Division title for a 5th consecutive year and the top seed in the AFC playoffs with a league best 14-2 record, 63. After clinching a first-round bye, the Chiefs defeated the Cleveland Browns 22-17 in the divisional round to send them to their 3rd straight AFC championship game. They then won 38-24 over the Buffalo Bills for their 2nd straight Lamar Hunt Trophy. However, the victories proved costly. In the divisional round, quarterback Patrick Mahomes suffered a turf toe injury before being removed in the 3rd quarter due to a concussion, 64. The former continued to afflict Mahomes entering the Super Bowl, with him required to undergo toe surgery after the game, 65. Additionally, left tackle Eric Fisher departed the conference championship with a torn Achilles, forcing him to miss the Super Bowl. 66. The loss of Fisher compounded the Chiefs' offensive line troubles, as right tackle Mitchell Schwartz had been lost earlier in the season with a back injury, 67. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers finished as the 5th seed and 2nd place in the NFC South with an 11-5 record, 68. They were the first team under quarterback Tom Brady to reach the playoffs as a wild card. In the wild card round, the Buccaneers defeated the Washington football team 31-23, 69, to advance to the divisional round against the New Orleans Saints, who had swept them in the regular season. The Buccaneers then defeated the Saints 30-20 to advance to the NFC Championship game, 70. The Buccaneers then upset the top-seeded Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game 31-26, advancing to the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers became the 5th team to win 3 away games en route to the Super Bowl. They also became the first team to make the Super Bowl as a wild card team since the 2010 Green Bay Packers, 71. The Buccaneers became the first team to play and win a Super Bowl in its home stadium, and only the 3rd to play in their home metro area, alongside the 1979 Los Angeles Rams and 1984 San Francisco 49ers. CBS, to an extent, also benefited from holding rights to the Super Bowl in the same year that it held the rights to the NCAA Final Four, which is cycled with Warner Media Entertainment channels on a 2-year cycle with TBS, as well as the AFC Championship game in primetime, which contractually alternates between afternoon and primetime on a 2-year cycle with the NFC Championship game on Fox. R&B singer who performed America the Beautiful, and country music singer Eric Church and R&B singer Jasmine Sullivan performed The Star-Spangled Banner. This was the second time that the national anthem was sung as a duet in a Super Bowl, the first time being in 2006. 4. At the end of the national anthem, a flyover was performed by the United States Air Force consisting of their 3 strategic bombers currently in active service, the Rockwell B-1 Manser, the Northrop B-2 Spirit, and the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. Buccaneers tight end Rob Gronkowski caught 2 touchdown passes in the first half. The Chiefs won the coin toss and deferred possession to the second half. After the first 3 drives ended in punts, Kansas City's ensuing drive took them 31 yards in 8 plays, culminating in a 49-yard field goal by kicker Harrison Butker to take a 3-0 lead. The Buccaneers responded with an 8-play, 75-yard drive, with running back Leonard Fournette rushing 4 times for 26 yards, while quarterback Tom Brady completed back-to-back passes to wide receiver Antonio Brown and tight end Cameron Brate for gains of 16 and 15 yards, respectively. Brady ended the drive with an 8-yard touchdown pass to tight end Rob Gronkowski, giving Tampa Bay a 7-3 lead. This was the 13th postseason touchdown pass from Brady to Gronkowski, setting a new record for touchdowns between the same quarterback/receiver duo, which they had previously shared with San Francisco 49ers players Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, 139. It was also the first time in Brady's Super Bowl appearances that he threw a touchdown pass in the first quarter, 140. The Chiefs were forced to a 3-and-out to start the second quarter, and the Buccaneers took over on their own 30-yard line. Following the punt, 141. Following back-to-back runs for 15 yards by running back Ronald Jones II, Brady's 31-yard completion to wide receiver Mike Evans set up 1st and goal for the Buccaneers at the Kansas City 6-yard line. However, the Chiefs' defense made a stand at their goal line. Jones picked up 4 yards, but then Brady threw a pass that was dropped by offensive tackle Joe Hagg, who lined up in the tight end position, with linebacker Anthony Hitchens knocking the ball out of Hagg's hands. On 3rd down, Jones was stopped short of the goal line, and again on 4th down, which was challenged by Tampa Bay and upheld, giving the ball to Kansas City on their own 1-yard line. The Chiefs managed to pick up 16 yards on their ensuing possession before being forced to punt again. Tommy Townsend punted deep into Tampa Bay territory, but a holding call on Chiefs linebacker Ben Neiman forced Townsend to punt again. His follow-up punt went out of bounds at the Kansas City 38-yard line for a net of only 29 yards. The Buccaneers' ensuing drive was dated by two significant penalties. First, an interception by safety Tyrann Mathieu was negated by a defensive holding penalty against cornerback Charvarius Ward. Later, after Kansas City stopped Tampa Bay on 3rd and 5, Chiefs cornerback Antonio Hamilton was called for defensive offside during a 40-yard field goal attempt by kicker Ryan Succop, giving the Buccaneers a new set of downs, 142. On the next play, Brady threw a 17-yard touchdown pass to Gronkowski, increasing the Buccaneers' lead to 14-3. Kansas City responded by moving the ball 61 yards in 10 plays, with quarterback Patrick Mahomes completing 4 passes to tight end Travis Kelce for 41 yards and rushing for 10. Butker finished the possession with another field goal, a 34-yarder, making the score 14-6. Tampa Bay's final first-half drive began on their own 29-yard line with just over a minute left in the half, and mounted a 71-yard drive in 5 plays, the longest a 15-yard catch by Fournette. The Buccaneers were aided by 2 pass interference calls, a 34-yard penalty against cornerback Bashop Breeland, who was covering Evans, and an 8-yard penalty against Mathieu in the end zone, 142. On the next play, Brady completed a 1-yard touchdown pass to Brown, increasing Tampa Bay's lead to 21-6 with 6 seconds to play. Mahomes then took a knee to end the half, 141. All told, in the first half the Chiefs were penalized 8 times for 95 yards, the most penalties called on any team in one half in any game of the 2020-21 NFL season, while the Buccaneers were flagged for one 5-yard penalty, 143. Second half. On the opening play of the second half, Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire rushed for a 26-yard gain. He also had a 10-yard run on the drive, which went for 47 yards in 7 plays and concluded with Butker's 52-yard field goal, cutting Kansas City's deficit to 21-9 and putting them only 2 touchdowns away from taking the lead. However, the Buccaneers took complete control of the second half and held the Chiefs scoreless for the rest of the game. Tampa Bay responded with a 6-play, 74-yard drive, featuring a 25-yard completion from Brady to Gronkowski, Brady's longest completion of the game. Fournette went the distance for a 27-yard touchdown run on the next play, increasing their lead to 28-9. 3 plays into the Chiefs' next drive, safety Mike Edwards broke up a pass intended for wide receiver Tyreek Hill, which was intercepted by safety Antoine Winfield Jr. at the Kansas City 45-yard line. The Buccaneers then advanced to the 19-yard line, but on 3rd and 10, center Ryan Jensen snapped the ball high above Brady's head, but Brady was able to recover the ball at the 34-yard line, resulting in a 15-yard loss on the play. However, the miscue did not affect them, as Succop ended the drive with a successful 52-yard field goal, capping off the scoring at 31-9. On Kansas City's next drive, which carried over into the fourth quarter, they advanced to the Tampa Bay 11-yard line with Mahomes completing 4 of 6 passes for 56 yards, the longest a 21-yard completion to Hill, but the Buccaneers forced a turnover on downs, stuffing a running play for a 1-yard gain and then forcing Mahomes to throw 3 straight incompletions, turning the ball over on downs with 13:32 left in the game. Fournette was the game's leading rusher with 16 carries for 89 yards and a touchdown, while also catching 4 passes for 46 yards. Gronkowski, who caught only 2 passes in Tampa Bay's previous 3 postseason games, was the team's leading receiver with 6 receptions for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. White had 8 solo tackles, 2 for a loss, 4 assisted tackles, and an interception. Mahomes finished the day 26 of 49 for 270 yards and 2 interceptions, while also rushing for 33 yards. Mahomes was pressured on a Super Bowl record 29 of 56 dropbacks while also being sacked 3 times and hit twice, scrambling nearly 500 yards before throwing or taking a sack.